All we've got to do now is to start pumping.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Whoa. Where do I start? I am on like 2 hours of sleep. We just streamed for 2 hours. We streamed for 2 hours earlier today. Streamed for 2 hours. Now, I'm on like 2 hours of sleep because the Green Bay Packers did their thing. And I was just refreshing the Twitter feed for a few hours before I actually fell asleep last night. But that was the best weekend of football that I remember in a long time. Like, I'm amped, dude. I just did a shot of no binge drinking, but I just did a shot of scotch and a shot of espresso. I already have some 5 hour in me. This is going to be a minute. So much to unpack from this weekend. I need to, while I'm live here on YouTube, thank you everybody for joining me. I do want to real quick share this because I had a tweet that is already at like 1,000 retweets. Just doing a little on-the-fly marketing here about NFL overtime rules, which I think we might as well start there. But I just need to hold on here. I just need to share this as my tweet goes viral here. So bear with me, podcast crew. Thank you, everybody, listening to the Fully Inflated Football Podcast, watching the Fully Inflated Football Podcast, wherever you are. Okay, emergency divisional round podcast is live. Link. Boom. Let's do it. All right. I think we got to start with where I've been for 7 years, surely since this channel first started. And shout out to the OGs of That Franchise Guy. Been pounding this table. Well, I got this table like 6 months ago, but this theoretical table in front of me that I've been making content on YouTube for since day one. These overtime rules are trash. Trash. The biggest joke in professional sports. And my heart pours out to you, Bills fans. I had no stake in this game. I had no money on this game. Wow. How many times have I been saying that there will be games in this offensive league between the two future faces of this league? Josh Allen balling out tonight. Let me know if I'm too loud. I am amped right now. But balling out. Legacy game. 4 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis plays on the move. Playing in structure. Boom, 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 boom. Super Bowl bound. Defense fatigued. Couple mistakes. Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball. Pretty good. You may have heard of him. Boom, boom. 36-36. Coin toss. 5 plays later. Game's fucking done. And I'm sorry for the language, but I'm fucking done with these overtime rules. These players pour their hearts out all year long. Myself, as an analyst, pours myself out for these games. And these rules ruin the game. This is an offensive league. Every single rule. Can't touch the receivers. Can't touch the quarterbacks. You name it. Offensive gurus, a abound, quarterbacks galore, points per game skyrocketing, and a coin toss effectively gifts an interception for all intents and purposes to the Kansas City Chiefs. A coin toss. I'd rather they just say home team starts with the ball, because at least you know going in that the home team has a real logistical advantage come overtime. It's inexplicable, and I think this was a turning point, because up until this point, I have been dying on this hill, a martyr for these rule changes. For how long? And nobody took my side, man. There's a lot of emotion pent up here. This needs to change. So if you're watching this, share this. You can't have this anymore. It's enough. I'm sorry, Bills fans. I'm sorry. You got jobbed. So much respect for Josh Allen tonight. Gabriel Davis, dude. That energy for Gabriel Davis heading into next year. With Emmanuel Sanders on his way out, Cole Beasley on his way out, with the way Josh Allen finished this season, the energy for Gabe Davis in that offense. Brian Dable coached a hell of a game tonight. We'll see if he's, going to get head coach job somewhere. I would think. I mean, that you would think that was like I am the best head coach candidate. Like, God, Buffalo, man, you had it. You had it. You got job. Bills fans, I want to let you know I have no stake. You guys think I hate the Bills. You always have. I don't know why. I always like Josh Allen. I am shaking in frustration for you, because this should have been a rule change fucking 15 years ago. What are we doing, NFL? This is such a joke that we have to sit here and talk about this. So, great game by the Bills. Deserved a fair chance at this game. And, the arguments for it are always, just make a stop. Just make a stop, yeah. Yeah, just stop Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Defense is exhausted. All the energy in the world. Kelsey's mossing you on the 5th play of the drive. Yeah, just make a stop. It's really easy. I mean, it's not like the Chiefs need to prove that they need to stop Josh Allen. I mean, there's two sides to the sport. You got to play both sides of the ball. How much fucking defense did the Chiefs have to play in overtime tonight? How many stops did the Chiefs have to get? Use your brains, people. I can't stand it. Oh, just win in regulation. Just win in regulation. What does that have to do with anything? You know who also could have won in regulation and not left them exposed to Josh Allen with the opportunity for a walk-off touchdown to win the game? You know who also could have won in regulation? The Kansas City Chiefs could have won in regulation. For a lot of these people that defend these rules, which I don't know how you do at this point, A plus B equals chickens. And the NFL front office, this rule, please, guys, share this with people. We can't have these rules anymore. It's like one of the biggest freaking industries in the country. And games can end like that? Ugh. All right. I'm sorry, Bills fans. My heart pours out for you. I hope you're back next year with better rules. Bills will be just fine. They got a young defense. Get Trey White next year. People in chat asking what's my solution. I might as well say that while we're here, but Bills will be fine. I'm worried about Dable leaving. Great organization. They can find a replacement coordinator. I do believe that. They got to execute that move. Young defense, young D-line. They will be right back next year. My solution for overtime rules is you start the game. You can still do a coin toss or have the home team start, whatever you got to do. Start the ball and say, I like the 35-yard line. You could say on your own 35-yard line, but no kickoffs. No kickoffs. Both teams start in the same field position. So you start in the 35-yard line, your own 35. You could do your own 45, whatever makes sense. It's not a huge deal. I don't think it should be like college where you're right there. I think back it up so you got to actually have a drive. I like 35. And how it works is whoever starts, play ball, right? And if you score a touchdown, the other team starts exactly where you started. Same side of the field, so the wind doesn't change anything. And if you get to fourth down, you get the choice to either punt and the other team starts exactly where you started on your own 35-yard line, or you can go for it. If it's 4th and 1, you're at midfield, you can go for it. But if you don't get it, the other team takes over there at that yard line, like real football. So a little give and take there. You got to get rid of the kickoffs, and you got to get rid of punts, because otherwise, if you just say both teams can always answer, play ball, everyone's going to kick, right? Because the reality is you can get a stop. It's a lot harder to get a stop, but the reality is you can get a stop. So if you just say, just play ball, but you can always answer the touchdown, then it's even more lopsided than it is right now, because you would kick every time, and you know exactly where you are. Oftentimes you're going to have great field position. So that's the solution. It's kind of like college OT. It's a little different. And if they just do this for playoffs, it's better than nothing. But that's my solution. It's better than anything I've heard personally. That's enough about overtime rules. You guys get the point. As for the Chiefs, it's not like you didn't deserve the win. It's not like you didn't deserve the win. Like, they also played great. Now, defensively, I didn't get the game plan. It felt like they were running a ton of man coverage late in the game. I'd have to watch the All-22 to confirm that. But if I'm playing Josh Allen, I'm going zone. It's easier to stop the scrambles. I feel like when Josh Allen sees man coverage, his face just lights up, because I think he thinks there's nothing he can't do against man coverage. I disagreed with some of the game plan by the Chiefs, but obviously there wasn't a whole lot of defense going on in this game. Patrick Mahomes was a spectacle. Amazing throws. Made a couple nice quick hits when he needed to. That was Super Bowl football right there by both quarterbacks. And it's a shame that it ended the way it did, but Chiefs are moving on, and they're playing Los Bengals. So how about we talk about that? Got to rewind through all of the emotions of the last 3 games to get to that game, which was a hell of a game. Bengals. Why not the Bengals, right? Teddy. Oh, I don't have Teddy. Teddy's still got his Bengals jersey on. But, wow. So much to dissect. I'm just like overwhelmed. Let's start with the Bengals side of this, because that is big for the city of Cincinnati, for Joe Burrow. He's 2-0 in the playoffs. His infectious energy, I think it's something. It's noteworthy. It's not necessarily that it was like this week he came out and he was the reason they played great defense, but I do think that there's a certain faith that you get when you arrive at an elite quarterback. A faith that the team has that it's like, if we get this stop, if we do our job, we're going to get that extra edge. And it does feel like the Bengals have that with Joe Burrow. And whatever happens in the playoffs, to have that in year two, it's the same feeling we had with Rodgers, with Luck, Russell Wilson a little bit, Brady way on in it earlier on in his career, Peyton. Breeze took a little bit of time to get there. Mahomes, year two. It's that same, like, hell yes feeling. And it's not like he was perfect in this game. But, newsflash, you can't expect perfect quarterback play every single week. And the Titans brought it. The Titans really brought it in this game. And he took some sacks in this game that he shouldn't be taking. Couple plays down in the not in the red zone, but on the other side of the field that, thank God McPherson is amazing. He made like a 54-yarder after Burrow took a sack, and then he did get sacked out of field goal range, which would have been a game-winning field goal. So there was a certain amount of Burrow. It's like, I get you're frustrated. I get you're running for your life, but on 3rd and long, when you've been running for your life, there is a certain situational awareness that I think Burrow could have had to say, let's dirt this, throw it at the feet, and take the field goal. But for the most part, he didn't have a whole lot of places to go. The football, 300 yards, made some plays, avoided mistakes other than the sacks. And he was a big part of the reason that they won that game. Not a whole lot of quarterbacks are going to come in behind that, 9 sacks. He was running for his life and perform the way he did. But the story for me was the Bengals defense playing such great football, and like the front office, we've given them so much credit, and it was Von Bell. It was the Eli Apple redemption arc, making a play late in that game with Loctite coverage, pops the ball up. Logan Wilson in position there. Wilson, I thought, had a good game defending the run just based on what I saw. And all of these additions that they've made, DJ Reader, a big game. Trey Hendrickson he left this game, right? Or was that, again, everything's starting to blend together, but all of these additions, Chidobe Awuzie had his ups and downs in this one, but those are some damn good receivers they had to cover. But the Bengals defense are good enough, like with the explosiveness they have on offense, they're good enough. And it's going to be a battle. I tweeted it week 17 when the Bengals played the Chiefs. The Bengals won. That game was nutty. I tweeted, I was like, how about a Bengals-Chiefs rematch in the playoffs? And we're going to get it. So, gosh, Burrow, Mahomes, the AFC quarterback picture. Like, that's it, man. Burrow, Mahomes, Allen. Right behind him, you got Lamar, Herbert. Gosh, NFL is in a good place if they just change these overtime rules. Titans. It's such a tough spot to be in. You kind of knew it. Most of us definitely knew it, but I feel like Titans fans kind of knew it. They maybe didn't want to admit it, but Tannehill is Tannehill. He's a mid-tier quarterback. He can make some throws. but that buzzword, man, system quarterback gets thrown around, but that's Tannehill. Like if it's not there for him, you have no confidence that he's not going to screw everything up. And he kind of screwed it up. And not so much that he made these atrocious mistakes. I think, the first interception, just not a good way to start the game. But part of that is he's just such a one-dimensional passer. He's his foundation is so dependent on those middle of field strikes. The intermediate game is where he's so good. And I'm going to ring my bell on this one for the podcast listeners from last week. I said, look out for a Jesse Bates interception to jump an intermediate throw from Ryan Tannehill. First throw of the game. Jesse Bates jumped an intermediate throw and picked it off. Because it's a predictable outcome. You got this great ball-hawking free safety that can read these route combinations, is going to come in prepared. And Tannehill, who's what I describe as a drop-and-shoot quarterback. And it was on that play, throughout the game, late in that game on the game-losing interception, Tannehill does what I describe as he has a drop-and-shoot style. Very dependent on first read, second read, make a good read of the defense, set your feet, fire a well-placed, high-percentage throw, but that's incredibly dependent on the guy getting open and the defense not reading it. And then B, you're not going to get that creativity when it's not there. And that's really where the Titans got hurt, was that lack of creativity. And there's always a hard balance. Like, you don't want the guy that scrambles too much. You don't want Jalen Hurts. You don't want the guy that hangs in there too much, like Ryan Tannehill. You got to have that balance. That's why I've always loved Joe Burrow so much. That's why I said he was a top 10 quarterback in September and took all the heat. How's that working for you now, Twitter? But Tannehill doesn't have that balance. He's going to stand in the pocket and throw it. And even though he has little flashes where he'll run, he has all of this athleticism, former receiver, he just doesn't leverage it as well as he can, and it's a drawback for him. So that obviously sucked. The run game wasn't there. I think there's this belief that you can't stop Derrick Henry. It's really not true. I mean, he can take over games, but you can stop Derrick Henry. There's plenty of games throughout the season where you can bottle them up, and they did a really damn good job of it. And Bengals just were the better team, unfortunately for the Titans. Barely. I mean, it was a great game. But the Titans are in a tough spot because it's like Tannehill's 34. You backloaded the crap out of his contract. This is kind of their window. It's like, you kind of got to just roll it back and hope for a better outcome next year. Maybe you draft a guy first, second round. Hope he's a hidden gem, but there's no easy way out of this for the Titans. I think they can get out of it without a complete rebuild, but they gotta either get really lucky in the playoffs or hit on a quarterback somewhere along the road. I don't see them trading for Rodgers or Watson in their division. I don't see that happening. I don't think Seattle trades Russ, so I don't think you're getting a savior, elite quarterback traded in here. Great game. It set the tone for the weekend. Clutch defense by the Bengals. They're gonna have their I don't know what the proper expression is, but they're gonna have their wits made out for them. Am I making that up? I don't know. But that's the AFC picture, man. Chiefs, Bengals. Can't wait. I might go. Me and my wife, we might go. I mean, I got to get down to Mobile next week for the Senior Bowl. Already going to be halfway there. Did pretty well these last 2 weeks. Patreon picks. Shout out. Shout out to the patrons. Patreon.com/ThatFranchiseGuy, where this show is brought to you by. 5-1 on picks the last 2 weeks. Might pay for a little trip to KC. Got a little family down there. Place to stay. Get some barbecue. I don't know. I'm just saying. A couple more super chats. Maybe we make it work. I don't know. Oh, that's the Scotch talking. I don't know. But, I mean, seriously. We might have to do it. But, NFC. My wife's a big Bengals fan, for those that didn't know. Thought Andy Dalton had that. You know what? All right, let's get to the NFC. And I didn't even, before I just did this emergency podcast, I didn't prep any of these thoughts. Although we did just do a 2-hour film review of the Packers game. We were live for. Definitely check that out on YouTube. A lot of these thoughts are going to come from that. It's a if you want to seriously evaluate the game, you got to take the time, and we did that. What's my go-to Scotch? I am currently having the Kirkland, actually. Shout out to Costco. It's not bad Scotch. It's really not. I'm still kind of discovering my favorite Scotches. Super chat from Let's Split Up Gang. You're on to Cincinnati. Bill Belichick, you're on to Cincinnati. I'm not really drunk, though. I just had one shot, but this is like emotional drunk. I promise you guys, I'm not recording this on the alcohol. But obviously got to be... I'm really trying, guys. I have a lot of emotion. There's no denying at this point. I can hide it as much as I want. I have a lot of emotion attached to him. And a lot of emotion attached to Tom Brady, just as we all do at this point. And I try to hide it, but it comes out. And honestly, I'm not ashamed of it. I care a lot about this game. I have a lot of opinions about this game. And I have a lot of disagreements. And I tweeted this out. I said it's very difficult to have rational conversations about the individual players without getting into Brady versus Rodgers. It's just whether you do it yourself or someone brings it up, it's just this constant like F you energy that just never results in positive conversation. I'm guilty of it just as much as the next guy. And I'm ready to move on from that. That's why I'm so excited with the AFC and all these young quarterbacks. So I am going to do my best job to take the emotion out, analyze the games, talk about these two teams, what happened, and we'll carry on. A couple super chats. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Having a lot of fun right now. All right. Where should we start? Bucs, Rams, Packers, Niners. First comment. We'll start there. Who's going to get it first? It's always like a 10-second delay. It's always kind of awkward, but we'll get it. Nobody's got it yet. Bucs. Luis, you got it. All right. This game for the first half, I would say, went exactly how I expected. And I kind of went into this, I was like, I'm emotionally unstable from the Packers game. Probably the worst special teams performance in NFL playoff history, along with maybe Rodgers' worst playoff game ever, which is, we'll discuss that game. But I went into this, I was like, I'm not going to tweet about Brady. I'm just going to watch this happen. I kind of had a feeling like Brady's going to be under a ton of pressure. really saw that Rams pass rush click into place against the Cardinals. Was just blown away. Aaron Donald, best player in football. Von Miller he's a different version of himself, a little more power than we're used to, but he's got it. Leonard Floyd is playing well. Greg Gaines playing well. It's just like with Wirfs either playing on a bum ankle or out, and Ryan Jensen playing injured, I just didn't feel good about the Bucs O-line looking like the Bucs O-line they missed one start this year. One. The entire offensive line played the whole season. And you got all pros out there. Ryan Jensen receives all pro votes. You've got, obviously, left guard Ollie Marpet did I think make all pro, and Tristan Wirfs all pro. Some of the best guys at their position. Then you got Kappa at right guard has come on real nice. And even at left tackle, I always struggle with his name, but Penn State, good player. They missed one start. Left guard Ali Marpet missed one game. Other than that, lockdown. Best O-line in the NFL, at least from a pass protection standpoint. Huge asset to Tom Brady, who is a pocket passer. And someone said Brady's terrible under pressure. That's not true. Brady just doesn't have as many weapons at his disposal to escape pressure. If you can rush Brady, that's the recipe for beating him. So I knew coming in that was going to be, we were going to see a different version of Brady than really we had seen, because we saw it in the second half of that Eagles game, and I'm like, well, the Rams pass rush is way better than the Eagles pass rush. So that right there, and then I was like, well, you got Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans. If that's a bad matchup, I mean, there's a lot of corners that can cover Mike Evans, honestly, but Evans has been playing really well lately. Had a great second half. Great second half. But first half, not so much. Jalen Ramsey kind of bodied him in the first half. So I was like, you got Brady under pressure, throwing to Tyler Johnson, who's actually been he was great in the NFC Championship last year and has done nothing else in his career. Kind of disappointing. Like, Gopher kid. Really rough year for Tyler Johnson. But, coming in, I was like, I'm not going to shred Brady. It's going to be a really tough night for him. If he plays well, I'll be impressed. And I didn't. I think I did a really good job not shredding Brady for his performance. Now, things kind of became unhinged in the second half. Without getting too far into it, I hold the opinion that Tom Brady is one of the 3 best quarterbacks ever, who is also the single luckiest athlete in the history of the NFL. And I'm sorry, Brady fans, I just hold that opinion. I've watched his whole career play out. I've seen these playoff endings, and I've watched everybody else's career, and the things that happen for Brady in the playoffs just don't happen for other quarterbacks. And basically, the most dramatic example of that transpired in this game in the second half. And I was like exploding emotionally, because I was like, how does this keep happening? His team was not better in this game. They got dominated. And you start right before half. Brady throws a pick, looks like game over. And I'm not even going to fault Brady for the pick. You're down 2 scores, you're under pressure, you got to make a play. I get it. It happens. Rams are about to punch it in, go up 27-3. I got a good laugh because I was like, what if they go for 2 just as a meme? And I thought they would go up 28-3 just as a joke on Brady. But anyway, at the 2-yard line, Cam Akers coughs the ball up to keep it a 17-point game at half, which is so much different than a 24-point game at half. So it starts, and I'm like, You got to be kidding me. Like, come on, Rams. Like, don't give this team hope right before half. But even then, it's like, okay, whatever. One fumble. If Brady can still come back from that, like, good on him. Get to the second half. And I don't have the exact order of events here, but Rams fumble again, I think in the third quarter, right? The Cooper Kupp, I want to say it was 27-3 at that point, right? Chat, you guys can confirm this, but 27-3, Rams are driving. Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year. Tough as nails, one of the smartest receivers in the NFL, coughs the ball up. Bucs get the ball in short territory, and they end up, I think, kicking a field goal off of that. Then Rams go 3 and out. Matthew Stafford self-implodes for a second. He's settled down, it's fine. But Rams go 3 and out. Bucs get the ball right back. Brady's starting to heat up. I mean, you can't keep giving this guy's opportunities. We've seen it time and time again. And I'm going to finish all this by talking about how Brady played. But Rams are starting to let the Bucs back into this thing, right? So they score a touchdown, and then I don't know exactly what happened on the next drive. I think they ended up punting that one. Yes, I believe they ended up punting that next drive. So it's 27-13 at this point. And they punt the ball, and they get a sack fumble on Tom Brady. Like right at the fourth quarter mark. Sack fumble, Von Miller. I've had it. Boom. Ball out. Pass rush win. Brady doesn't see him from the blind side. Ball's out. Should be game. Rams got the ball at midfield. All they need is a field goal, fourth quarter. Should be game. I shit you not. The next play, the center fires the ball over Matthew Stafford's head, and the Bucs recover it for 40-yard gain. What? You've already fumbled twice. And then you do that? Like, at that point, it's like, this is a joke. What is happening? Like, the football gods just reached down and just ripped the Rams' wiener off and said, nope, not today. And then they get another stop, right? Off of that. That happens. Brady gets the ball back. Pretty sure the Rams get another stop. And then, you know, I don't know the exact order of events. I've got it to this point, but there was a Bucs touchdown at some point in there. It might have been that next drive to make it 27-20. But fast forward a little bit to like the 5-minute mark. And no, the Bucs had not scored at this point. I think the Bucs end up giving the ball back to the Rams after the erroneous snap that just was like, here, Brady, here's another chance. The Bucs don't do anything with it. The Rams get into field goal range. I think with like 5 minutes left. So it's still 27-13. A 47-yard field goal for he's a Pro Bowl kicker, Matt Gay, having an awesome season. 47 yards, and he short legs it. Like the football gods, right before the kick go, and noodle leg. Boom. Ha! Here you go, Brady. Midfield. So instead of a 3-score game, instead of 30-13 with 5 minutes left, a Pro Bowl kicker doesn't just miss it, he short legs a 47-yard field goal. It's like he can't make this shit up. Brady gets the ball, goes and scores a touchdown. You got 27-20. Still, 3 minutes left. Rams need no timeouts for the Bucs, pretty sure. Just need a first down or two, and that's game. Don't panic. You've been beating these guys all day. Just stop fumbling the football and missing kicks. You'll be just fine. Couple runs, get a first down, and guess what happens? Cam Akers, whoa! No, not the football! Ah! Bucs fall on it. Down by a touchdown. Tom Brady, really nice drive, capitalizing on these opportunities. Freaking dot to Mike Evans. Like, this is the Brady experience, right? The fact that he had these opportunities, pure unadulterated luck that he's had throughout his career, but he capitalized. He stuck with it, played a hell of a game under pressure, throw some great balls. Like, he played a good game, all things considered. I know people that maybe hate Brady even more than me are going to be like, he threw a pick before half. He had a sack fumble. Like, it was a hard-ass game for Tom Brady. It was. He was under a ton of pressure. So, Brady goes and ties the game up. And at that point, I'm just like, how is this possible? 4 fumbles in the second half in that fashion and a missed field goal? Like, and then Matthew Stafford, baby. Ooh, Matthew Stafford. Everybody in the Rams is just like, let's go. That's why you trade for Matthew Stafford. Clutch as, 2 big-time throws. Bucs fans were complaining about the blitz. I get it. Don't tell me about gifts if you're a Bucs fan. Don't tell me about getting gifted anything. Stafford to Cooper Kupp twice, just so happy for the Stafford family. His wife overcoming brain cancer. Matthew Stafford overcoming the Detroit Lions for 10 years. How can you not root for the Rams, man? Like, if you're a football fan, you got a quarterback worth rooting for. You've got Aaron Donald trying to make a case as the best football player ever, who's going to need at least a ring if he's going to make that claim. And I think he has a case. He dominated in this game and has been the best player in football for like 7 years. Who can say that? Who can say they've genuinely been the best player in football for 7 straight years? Nobody. Not Brady, not Rodgers, nobody. Clear cut, best player in football. Maybe not most valuable, but you got Von Miller out there. You got the Rams who want it. So many teams are just so conservative with their moves, and the Rams are like, screw it. What's a first-round pick against Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey? They get Odell from the Packers. They call up Odell and say, hey, man, we want you here. Come to L.A. Packers just half-assing it like, yeah, we don't really care if you come here or not, but we'd love to have you if you want to be here. Rams are like, no, Odell, I know it doesn't make sense. At the time, it's like, we got Cooper, we got Robert Woods, we got Van Jefferson. Deshaun Jackson just left because he wasn't getting enough targets. He's like, no, we got a plan. We want you. It's going to be dope. We're going to use you. You're going to be a huge piece in this team. Go get him. Like, I love the Rams, man. Smart organization that deserves to win. So happy for the Rams and for Matthew Stafford, who's just, I mean, talk about luck and opportunities and spotlights. It's just something that's never been there for Matthew Stafford. Just the opportunity to get mentioned. Like, what a moment, man. What a game. He was great in this game. He was great last week. And this is what we said coming in, was like, okay, Stafford's really good. Obviously not Rodgers, not Brady, but capable of these stretches of dominance. And if he gets that stretch of dominance in the playoffs, look out. And you've now got 2 out of 2. Got to do it again next week and the week after that. So, very excited for the Rams. As for the Bucs, bad luck. Team fell apart. You kind of got what you asked for with the Antonio Brown situation. That was always playing with fire. But obviously Chris Godwin knows Tristan Wirfs. Turns out, sometimes you just get hurt. And it's not your year. Hasn't always happened to Brady, but this year, they did. The football gods tried to give every single freaking opportunity to Tom Brady, but they weren't a better team on Sunday with how depleted they were. They fought. They really fought. And I said I would end with how Brady played. I was impressed. I think I already talked about this. I was impressed by Tom Brady. I have nothing bad to say about how he played. It's just the luck thing. It just was like, really? They're going to... I don't think Brady retires, by the way. You see that throw he had to Mike Evans, and you know Tom Brady's fire. There's no way that dude hangs it up after a loss like that, on a season where the team just got hurt. If he can still throw a football like that, he's coming back. I think it'll be for the Bucs, but it could be for someone else. He's going to come back where he has the best chance to win a Super Bowl. And if he can get together with Jason Light and Bruce and make it in Tampa, because they have a lot of tough roster decisions to make. Godwin's a free agent. No more Antonio Brown. You've got to start paying some of these guys. The secondary are free agents. A couple guys on that O-line are free agents. It is not going to be easy. This was supposed to be their second all-in year. They have a lot of work to do. And there's a world where Brady's like, you know what? I actually think my best chance to win a Super Bowl is in Denver or New Orleans, or I don't know. And I think he's a free agent, right, Brady? I actually can't remember how they played that out. So I don't think Brady retires. I would be stunned. And then that brings us to our fourth and final game, Green Bay. And, Packers fans aren't listening to this. They are depressed. I get it. Let's just talk about what happened. I just did if you really want to know, I just did about a 90-minute film breakdown, highlight capped off at the end by my live reactions to the end of that Bills-Chiefs game. I think it was a great stream. I think you guys would enjoy checking it out. But I just want to look at what happened, because all of the conversation was, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers played the worst game of his career. He sucked. He is to blame. So I wanted to watch the film and just get answers for myself. I didn't really care about the narratives or anything, really. I needed to know. I needed to know what happened. So that's what that stream is. If you want to know what happened, I think I did a pretty good job looking at it. So much blame to go around. And I will just lead by saying Rodgers is not free of it, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. You guys can check out that stream. This idea that Rodgers was terrible in this game, that he was staring at Devontae Adams all night, passing up open receivers all game, making mistakes. That's not what I saw. There were 3 plays. 3 to 4, depending how you looked at the fourth. But earlier in the game, you have I don't need to get into it. It's all in the film breakdown, but there are 4 plays where you have what you call coulda, shoulda, woulda plays, where you look at it and you say, he threw to the wrong receiver, or he didn't throw to an open receiver. He missed an open play, you don't want those, right? But every single quarterback is going to have some of those every game. And when I saw, it was the same thing that happened last year with Rodgers. I saw the clip. If you guys have Twitter, you saw this thing. It was the final play of the game, and Rodgers sails it to Davante Adams, who's double covered, and you see Allen Lazard screaming open across the middle of the field. And I saw it just circulating on Twitter, and everyone's just slam dunking on Rodgers because that's what people want to do this year. He was doing this all night. He's got all these other great receivers. He's just looking at Davante Adams all night. Can't read a defense. Worst game ever. Choke artist. All this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this film. Was he actually doing this all night? No. Couple plays where he makes suspect reads. There was no bad decisions. I would say the last play was a bad decision, and you can criticize him for it. If he makes that play, they win that game. Absolutely. They also probably win that game if the special teams doesn't give up a block kick, if they don't allow a kick return that sets up another 3 points, and then get a punt blocked for a touchdown, literally giving the Niners their 13 points. So, again, check out the film breakdown. Rodgers made some big plays in this game. The play before half, I have no idea how Aaron Jones didn't score in that touchdown. If he's a $10+ million running back, I sit here on this chair and I watch Nick Chubb, I watch Dalvin Cook, I watch Christian McCaffrey, I watch Alvin Kamara, and I watch guys below that pay grade. They score a touchdown on that play. Aaron Jones, the 5th-round running back, making $700,000, totally fine to get tackled on that play. You got one-on-one in space and about 20 yards of distance, and you're the only other weapon on this offense that the front office was willing to pay. I watched that play, and I see Aaron Jones throughout this game, throughout the season, in the NFC Championship last year, and I'm like, that was their move? Was extending him? Good player, really good player. I said it when it happened. That was going to go down as one of the worst decisions of the offseason. And if the Packers had, I don't know, Marvin Jones, Will Fuller. I know Will Fuller got hurt, but you don't know if that happens in Green Bay. If they had anybody other than Allen Lazard as their number 2 receiver in that game, I'm telling you right now, watch the film breakdown. The Packers do not lose that game. I don't feel like going too far into it, but did Rodgers play great? No. Did he play bad? No. Did he play like an MVP? No. Does he deserve part of the criticism for that loss? Absolutely. But for the special teams to perform like that, I did the whole film breakdown, man. The play calling was not great. The offensive line was really getting beat up all night. They ran the ball for 3.5 yards a carry. The run schemes were Urban Meyer-esque, snap the ball and 3 defenders in the backfield. There was a lot of stuff going on that night that is just out of Rodgers' control. So it's a team sport, man. And I think Rodgers is just so frustrated at this point. I don't know what he does. Nobody knows what he does. And if I were to put a probability on it, I would say 40% he retires. 40% he wants to go somewhere else and just get a breath of fresh air, see what it looks like somewhere else. 20% he comes back and they figure it out. And I'm curious, what the Packers offseason is one of the more unique everything. You've got the Rodgers scenario, you got the Jordan Love scenario. Devontae Adams, the best receiver in football, is impending free agent. They have $45 million deficit in cap space. They have such a busy offseason. I can't wait to see how Brian Gutekunst screws it up, but it's going to be interesting and fun to watch. And then you got the Niners. Was blown away by the defense. And seriously, the defensive backs. This is fresh off my mind. It's like Dante Johnson had a great game. You don't believe me? Again, hour and a half film breakdown. We just took the time. We watched the film. He had a lot of good reps on Devontae Adams. Jimmy Ward, really crafty in coverage. Kwan Williams, I don't think I've been giving him enough credit. And a couple really good plays by Mosley as well. Like those guys stepped up. I thought D'Amico Ryans had the perfect game plan. The just a spot on combination of doubling Adams a decent amount of times, trusting his guys to actually beat Adams in certain leverages, disguising safeties enough to confuse Rodgers just enough. Of course, the pass rush that is just balling out. Like, again, it was like Samson Ebukam played great in this game. Eric Armstead is having his best season, in my opinion, as a pass rusher. Bosa, of course, great game. Bosa's just such a difference maker, man. And this Niners team is real. And 6 weeks ago, I got so many questions about, can the Niners win the Super Bowl? Obviously, at this point, yes. What's changed is the defense. Well, first, the offense woke up. Jimmy got healthy for a little bit. They unlocked Debo as this just hybrid supreme everything player. Kittle got back healthy. I've talked a lot about the importance of that. Ayuk got out of the doghouse. Like, the entire offense just woke the hell up. Shanahan just something clicked with the players, and it was just like, that's an offense that can do some stuff. And in this game, they couldn't really throw the ball. The Packers defense is legit, man. Rashawn Gary, stay sleeping, people, because it's well past time to stop sleeping on Rashawn Gary. He is legitimately, I don't even know where I want to rank him, or if I want to say he's elite, but my God, that dude changed the game. So, the Packers defense did a great job, and I probably didn't do that credit talking about that and how good that they were on that side of the ball. And the Packers wasted the best defensive performance from that team since they won the Super Bowl. So, that was a championship defense that they built. If they have hope for the future, it's because of that defense. So, I feel like I glossed over that. 100%. Defense carried the night. But just the Niners as a whole and what they've done is unlock the offense, and then this defense has truly become unlocked. The defense dominated the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, and they basically shut down the Packers' offense after the first drive. And hate to keep referencing that stream, but it was really good defense. Really good defense. All across the board, all three levels. So D'Amico Ryans is skyrocketing. Can't speak enough about that defense and how they've evolved there, and they can win the Super Bowl. They really can. If they keep playing defense like that the last 2 weeks, I really think they went up against the best defense that they're going to face the rest of the way. I think the Packers did a better job against this Niners offense than any of these other guys are going to do, and the Rams are definitely in that conversation as well, I suppose, but they have a shot. I don't know if I'll pick them, but can you imagine if Jimmy Garoppolo wins a Super Bowl and they're sitting there with this Trey Lance dilemma? The amount of narratives heading into this offseason are out the wall. What a weekend of football, man. Just speechless. I'm still fired up. I'm starting to fatigue. Been live for like 6 hours today, but wow. We are lucky, man, that we got to experience this weekend of football. Never going to forget this divisional round weekend. And I think we get a couple great battles next week. So I probably won't have a lot of content this week. I'm trying to get my Senior Bowl prep in this week so I can really have a better understanding of those prospects while I'm down there next weekend. So I'm going to have to cut out a lot of the content. I'm glad we got this podcast in. Awesome show. And actually, talking about how fatigued I am, I will see you guys on Twitch. For those of you guys that enjoy my Madden content, I'm actually going to play the Chiefs in the TFGO League, 32-man Realism League. Just saying, if you want to keep it rolling, twitch.tv/ThatFranchiseGuy. We're going to be firing that up. And I guess I'll see you guys right over there if you want to join me, but obviously most of you won't. And I cannot thank you enough for the super chat support we got. To my Patreon supporters, hoping to get maybe a Desmond Ridder film breakdown up there on Patreon this week. Also, my first edition of the draft board up there on Patreon. So if you want to support this channel, you want to support the podcast, patreon.com/ThatFranchiseGuy is where you're going to do it. Pays my bills, puts food in my belly, gets me maybe down to Kansas City to cheer on the Bengals next weekend. But yeah, check it out. Appreciate you guys. Great podcast. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you later.